What's going on YouTube? 65 Rider here, coming back to you with another video. In today's video I wanted to give you guys a 1,000 mile review and update about the Saddlemen seat for your Harley Davidson Pan America ST, or frankly any Pan America, to be honest. Just starting off with the TLDR over here. Unfortunately the seat is not for me, you guys. However, I'm gonna go into detail and tell you the good things and the bad things about the seat from my perspective as a bigger rider. I'm 6'5", I'm 270 pounds. I got a 34 or 35 inch inseam. And before we go into the negatives, let's give some props and let's go into the positives of the seat. The biggest positive of the seat is the way that it looks, you guys. It's honestly one of the best seats on the market for the Pan America. It just gives it that Street Fighter look and it makes it such an aggressive motorcycle. You'll see I chose mine with the carbon fiber inlay, or at least that's what they call it. It's still leather. And then I did the tuck and roll configuration because I thought that would be more comfortable. And to be honest, it is more comfortable than the diamond stitch. And then you'll see I chose to go with the logo in the red color to match these red lines here on the bike. So that's number one. That's the first positive about the seat. The fact that it looks so freaking good to the point where you kind of don't care that it's not that comfortable, if that makes sense. The second positive thing about the seat is the way that it sits compared to the factory seat. Unfortunately, the factory seat kind of leaned downwards a little bit, so whenever you're sitting on the bike, it slides you forward. And to me, that's an issue because I'm always ending up sitting on top of the tank with the factory seat. With this one, you'll see here, it sits pretty flat. And so whenever I'm sitting on the bike, I feel pretty flat with the lines of the bike. I don't feel like I'm stretched over or wanting hunched over or wanting to go sliding forward into the tank, to be honest. So this is the way I sit. It being super flat is really helpful, especially when you're riding, because it's a more natural position than having a seat that kind of makes you hunch over forward. I don't know why they did that with the factory seat, but don't get me started. And then finally, the third positive thing about the seat that I really like, especially for a guy my size, is that it actually sits you a little bit higher. I want to say about an inch or half an inch higher. So that means I have a little more room for my legs because the pegs are pretty high. But also it gives me that naked bike feel where I feel like I'm sitting on top of the bike and I'm kind of controlling the handlebars downwards. That's one thing that I really like about the seat, and it makes it super comfortable from an ergonomic standpoint for me. And then finally, you got this backrest over here. This, I would say, is good because like whenever you're ripping on this 150 horsepower motorcycle, you're pretty much locked in to the seat. You don't feel like you're sliding off or anything like that. So I guess it's a positive. Now, let's get into the negatives. Unfortunately, you guys, I did wait for about 1,000 miles to make this review. However, the seat is still pretty hard. I mean, it looks like it's breaking in a little bit, and it's not as hard as it used to be, which is fine. The only problem that I'm seeing is that because of my size and my height, after sitting on it for a while, it becomes really hard and you get a lot of pressure points on your spine, in your butt, and it gets to be super uncomfortable, especially on longer ride days. The other thing about it is the fact that it's super narrow compared to the stock seat. And I think there's another Saddlemen version that's a little bit wider, which is probably what I should have gotten as a bigger guy. However, the narrowness affects me in the sense that big portions of my butt cheeks are sitting outside of the seat. They're really not on the seat itself. And that gets to be super uncomfortable. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. I'll bring the camera right behind the bike so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I don't know how clearly you can see it, but when I'm sitting on the bike, you'll see here, you'll notice that a big portion of my butt is like just flapping in the air. It's not actually sitting on anything. And due to that, and you can see it on this side as well, you know, like all of this is just not sitting on anything. And the problem that actually creates is that it adds the pressure points to basically your crotch, if that makes sense, because the surface is not kind of distributed across your back end, basically. And so that becomes super uncomfortable after a little bit, to the point where like 30 minutes in, 45 minutes in, I'm like, I need to get off this bike and I don't want to get back on it. Whenever I got this seat, I told you guys I'm going to do a follow-up, and this was it. And I really wanted to love the seat, you guys, but unfortunately, my butt can't handle it anymore, to be honest. When I went to North Carolina to the Tail of the Dragon, we did about 400 miles in a span of 2 or 3 days through twisties and corners and whatnot. The seat performed pretty well in the fact that it kind of locked me in whenever you're taking some hard corners and whatnot. But again, the comfort level was just not there for me. And to be honest, what confirmed my decision and made me really want to get rid of the seat is yesterday I took a ride on the bike. I actually put the stock seat back on and I rode for about 2.5 hours and I felt all right. Although it was super annoying because I kept having to slide forward. But the seat was pretty comfortable because, as I mentioned before, the stock ST seat is really comfortable and it's wide enough for me. However, I didn't love the way it looks compared to the Saddlemen. And then I went back home, and then in the afternoon there was another bike meetup, and I was like, let me put the Saddlemen seat back on because I wanted to look good, especially bringing my bike to a meetup. And I did. And I went to the meetup. As soon as I got off the bike, my lower back was hurting. It was like a 30-minute ride or something. I was thinking about it. I was riding in the morning for about 2 hours or 2.5 hours, and I didn't feel anything at all. But then just a 30-minute ride to come to this bike meet, and my spine hurts. What the hell? So that confirmed it to me that the problem is the seat, unfortunately. And you guys, one thing that I'm going to tell you is if your bike is not comfortable for you, you're not going to want to ride that bike. So regardless of how it actually looks, and I'm telling you, it's the best looking seat on the market, because of the discomfort that I see on this bike, sometimes I feel like, oh, I don't want to take the Pan America, I'm going to take the Road Glide out or something, just because the comfort level is not there. However, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy up for sale, and I am going to be on the hunt for a different seat because, again, as much as I love the stock seat and its comfort, it keeps sliding me forward and I don't like the way it looks. What I'm actually thinking about is I've seen the Mustang seat for these Pan Americas, and that looks pretty good, but it's $700. So I can't get that until I sell this guy. So if you guys are interested, if somebody is a bit smaller, all my short kings out there, hit me up if you're interested. I'm gonna be putting up this guy for sale. I hope this video is helpful to you guys. Let me know in the comments below if you have the Saddlemen, what you think about it. Let me know if you have any questions about it or about anything regarding the Pan America. I'll be happy to answer those. All right, you guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and that subscribe button. And I hope to see y'all on the next one. Peace. Later.